welcome to the programme. I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Eastham, and this week we're spending time with a Lebanese political powerhouse, a woman who is quite simply risking her life to try and improve what she sees as a failing economy and a corrupt government in her country.
I know that it is dangerous. If I gain more popularity, yes, they will end up by killing me.
Later in the show, we'll head to Jordan as we continue with the theme of regional women on the rise to find out how their workplace is changing, slowly but surely.
We have to come together to create a feminist economy.
But first, it's arguably a brave person who criticises a political system that's been doing things a specific way for many decades. But that's exactly what one newly elected Lebanese lawmaker is doing. I went along to Beirut to meet her and find out more. Paula Yacoubian represents what some hope is the future of Lebanese politics. A highly recognisable figure in her country, she's a former television anchor who most memorably conducted an exclusive interview with Prime Minister Saad Hariri in Saudi Arabia in 2017, following his surprise resignation, which he later withdrew. Exasperated with what she deemed a defunct system of government in Lebanon, she stepped into the political limelight. Last year, she became one of only a handful of women elected in the country's first parliamentary elections in 10 years. And to find out how her new job was panning out, I spent a day with her in Beirut. Paula, following a 25-year career in journalism, you completely turned your back on it, said you were disillusioned, you'd lost faith. Is that still the case? Do you feel now you've lost some power going into politics? Did you not have more, speaking to millions of people through the lens?
Currently, I'm into politics because I think this is where I can play a bigger role in changing things. I'm just trying to convince people that we can do something different and that we deserve better. People don't know who to vote for and how to vote. Either they stay in their houses or they go and vote for the same people, thinking that they changed because they changed the faces sometimes and they think this is a new face. But it's the same leader, it's the same party, it's the same failure. People are listening to me right now. When I was a journalist, people used to listen, but it was like just talk for them. Now they see that I'm working, I'm talking. I have a political, not party, but I have a political movement with me, and we're trying to bring change.
I want to ask you about wider regional politics. Caught in between the tensions of Saudi Arabia and Iran, what do the coming years look like for Lebanon?
Scary, because this country is divided. Not only the division is sectarian, it's also a division within the regional spectrum. What I try to tell people every time I'm on stage, I try to tell them that foreign countries are not charity. They have their own interest here. They spend money because they have an agenda. Our Lebanese agenda is the most important. Our Lebanese agenda is not to listen to anyone and do what's good for our country. Because of their failure, they're helping us reach faster a bigger audience, and an audience that is from all religion. Let me give you just one index from the elections. All the parties that you see were elected by their sectarian base. The Druze elected the Druze, and the Christians elected the Christians, the Shia elected the Shia. We are the only political movement that was elected 48% Muslim, 52% Christian. And this has never happened before in the country, not since I was born.
Paula's electoral campaign slogan was Bikafe, or enough is enough. And as she puts it, enough of blindly following supposed leaders pursuing private interests. Lebanon's social and economic woes include the highest number of per capita refugees in the world. The country also has one of the heaviest global debt burdens, at around 150% of GDP. Paula lays blame at the feet of the country's political elite. She's determined to do right by her constituents by tackling a myriad of Lebanon's challenges, not least the rubbish crisis, which has plagued the country since 2015, when the capital's main landfill closed, resulting in mountains of toxic refuse piling up and being burned on the streets. We stand here in a place that you visit on a weekly basis, an underprivileged part of Beirut. Lebanon has so many social issues, from rising unemployment, electricity crisis, and the garbage problem, which is very close to your heart. How have you gone about trying to solve it?
This is one of the poorest areas of Beirut, and this is where they intend to plant the incinerator for Beirut. And this is a big thing in Lebanon right now, because we don't think incinerators are good for us. You don't have dignity when you see garbage everywhere in the street and there's nothing you can do, just because of some mafia who wants to make money out of the garbage crisis.
But with the grassroots movement like yours, it is a brave fight. How do you take on the old guard, the political elite? Because are you not frightened in doing so?
I feel afraid right now because I'm fighting the mafia and I'm hurting their pockets. And when you hurt the pocket of the mafia, this is where you have to fear for your life. So I'm comfortable in what I'm doing. In the same time, I know that it is dangerous. If I gain more popularity, yes, they will end up by killing me.
Talk to me about the biggest concern. What are the people living behind us telling you week in, week out? What do they want today?
The biggest concern is the economy. People want jobs. People want clean air to breathe. People want to have a future, to send their kids to schools. And the state made the country like a welfare system. People wait for the handouts of the political parties.
There aren't enough jobs to go around. The resources are scarce, and we have a refugee situation which is threatening to be at crisis levels now.
Yes.
How do we reconcile the two? Is there hope?
The refugee crisis weighs a lot on Lebanon, but this is not the problem. The problem is the political caste. We are ruled by a bunch of thieves. And these thieves were doing the same even before having the refugee crisis.
Paula is a champion of women's rights and a firm believer that the quota system is the only way to write a new chapter in Lebanon's parliamentary history. You're one of just 6 female parliamentarians out of 128 members. So what are the barriers to entry preventing more women entering these jobs?
I'm a fierce fighter for the quota because I think this is the only way to have real women representation. The quota is to rectify a historic injustice towards women. When, years ago, she used to stay in the house. If the leader wants to look good, he will place a woman and give her votes, just only to look good.
Paula, you say that women in Lebanon today are, quote, still oppressed. What exactly does that mean? Are you referring just to the world of work?
Women in Lebanon are oppressed. You start with the law and it goes back to the family, to the values. I presented a law to remove the reservations of Lebanon from the CEDAW Convention. Unfortunately, it's sleeping in the drawers of the parliament. I hope to see one day a woman president in my country, a woman head of army. We have a very powerful woman right now. She's the Minister of Interior, and I think she's doing an amazing job.
Paula, will continue to watch your career with great interest. Thank you for talking to me today.
I have to thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. From one woman's inspiring political journey to the role of women in the workplace in the wider region, from Jordan to Morocco, and the steps being taken to improve their overall rights. Darlene Hassan has this report on the Women as Partners in Progress conference in Jordan.
The World Bank states the global average of women in the workforce was 50% in 2015. Yet their inclusion is about only half of that in the MENA region, which today has a population of more than 400 million. In Jordan, the right to work is something many women still have to fight for, with the kingdom's labor laws dictating how late they can work. And until recently, it prevented them from entering fields like construction. Looking to improve things is the Khalil Gibran Chair for Values and Peace from the University of Maryland, which founded a project with the WPP 2 years ago. It works with local groups in Jordan, Morocco, and Kuwait to amplify women's voices and improve their labor freedom. Working with all members of society is the key to female empowerment, says an analyst of Womenomics, who leads a social enterprise to promote quality education in the region through expressive art forms and more.
First, we need to work with men. We have to find the supporters. We have to bring them on board because they become the role models to other men. We have to come together to create a feminist economy. On the other hand, we need to also work with women. We need to have women that have a voice, that have a choice and a control about their future.
Creating a boys' movement for girls is the Jussour Forum of Moroccan Women, a partner of the Gibran Chair. It uses social networks to spread the word in universities and rural areas to help young men redefine what it means to be a man in support of women. It's also pushing for legislative change. And there have been some victories with Morocco this year, criminalizing sexual harassment and the exploitation of women. However, the forum's efforts to make arranged marriages illegal and protect women from domestic violence have not been so well received.
For example, Law 113 did not mention the types of rape, especially marital rape, and Jussour made several efforts to send recommendations to the ministry. But unfortunately, they did not take it into consideration.
While there is still a long road ahead, efforts to drum up action through awareness campaigns continue to help women and men take the right steps forward together.
Well, that is a wrap of our show. We do hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to catch all of our episodes online at EuroNews.com. You can also follow us on social media. Before I say goodbye, here are some inspiring women that caught our attention on Instagram this week.
Val and her friends gathered for a cleanup in Lebanon's Betroun Beach. And Rana posted this behind-the-scenes shot whilst recording a show podcast called When Women Win.